Welcome to this discussion on the Bhagavad Gita. I am Hari Ravikumar and this is Dr. Koti Sreekrishna, and we have spent more than 6 years of our lives working on a translation of Bhagavad Gita and subsequently on different forms of presentation of this text. Today we will discuss a few things about Bhagavad Gita, and maybe we should start with Mahabharata.
Well, we can start from where we all descended from. As we know, in our Hindu concept, every one of us have descended from one of the 7 rishis, Sapta rishis. And this family we are discussing today, the Mahabharata family, they all have descended from a rishi called Atri. Atri is one of the 7 rishis, and it is Atri's son down the road is Yayati. And Yayati had 2 wives, Sharmishta and Devayani. Through Sharmishta was born the Puru. And they are the ones which reach for all these Pandavas and Kauravas, all of them.
It was Puru, then Puru's descendant was Bharata, then came Kuru.
Yeah.
And then we have the Kauravas and
Pandavas. Yeah. In fact, the name Mahabharata comes because of Bharata, descendants of Bharata. And in fact, even the name for India as Bharat might have come because of that reason. And likewise, through the Sharmishta, he had Yadu. In that lineage, where Krishna was born. So Krishna and all these Pandavas, Kauravas have same common ancestry, but they are in the parallel family trees.
The setting is very interesting of Bhagavad Gita, because here we have one of the greatest wars of the ancient world. Right? You had people, even Pandyas from Tamil Nadu went and fought in the war, it said. So people from all over, from Gandhara, from Madra, all the different provinces of ancient India participated in the war. So it's a pan-Indian and a very large-scale war. And on the occasion of this war, before it starts, and when Krishna takes Arjuna to the point between the 2 armies, at that moment he breaks down. Because even before that he tells, you should go and fight, show me the people. At that moment he breaks down. So it's a very interesting situation for Bhagavad Gita to be placed.
This is like the world war for the Indian subcontinent. For Indians or the Hindus, when you say war, what comes to them is the Mahabharata war. Just like in the West, war means it comes to them is WW2 or 1. So like that for us. In fact, when I first went to States, what I noticed was 7-Eleven stores. In the Mahabharata war, on Pandava side there were 7 Akshauhinis. In the Kaurava side it was 11 Akshauhinis. What came to my mind was 7-Eleven immediately brought me back to the size of the armies that fought the Mahabharata war. So it is so much ingrained in our culture, in our genes, in our ethos.
One of the things I always wondered about is when there is a big war taking place between 2 people. Was there enough time for Krishna to give this much Bhagavad Gita Upadesha, almost spread over 2 hours?
Well, we are not sure whether everything was conveyed like exactly as we see it in the lyrical work. A lot of it might have been like transmitted in a simple way.
And sometimes also when there is a little bit of a discussion, even like before a wedding or something, if there is a galata, girls side and boys side, sometimes the discussion also can go on, some 1 hour.
Exactly, yeah. In fact, this is not the only interruption in the war. In fact, before start of the war, Yudhishthira goes and bows to every one of them. That itself goes to several verses in Mahabharata. For each one of the elders on the Kaurava side, he goes and asks for their blessings and all those things. So it is, there is a lot of what we call in our terminology, tvancha hancha. So there is a lot of, nothing happens very quickly. So there is a lot of time for things. So actually, if we imagine that, it is not that much.
We have so many Gitas, but when we say Gita, it always means Bhagavad Gita. There is Ganesha Gita, Ribu Gita, Ashtavakra Gita, all these various Gitas, Uddhava Gita. But we always think of Bhagavad Gita. So that's also kind of a importance that is placed.
When you just say Gita, it is Bhagavad Gita. Just like when you say alcohol, it is there are so many thousands of alcohols. When we say alcohol, we know what it is, like that. So because Bhagavad Gita has a unique property which is probably not found for the other Gitas. The other Gitas are extremely specific to a particular theme, like it's Advaita or Bhakti, things like that. Like Guru Gita is just your devotion to Guru, importance of Guru, things like that. But none of them have been ridiculed here or anything like that, but all of them have been included here. In fact, even Guru is given a lot of value. The Ribu Gita is very strong on the Advaita philosophy, but Gita, Bhagavad Gita includes all those concepts. It harmonizes every conflicting and controversial view that are apparently existent in our culture into one.
And also we can say that Bhagavad Gita is probably the most accurate summary of Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma.
Exactly, because it covers
It
all
covers
aspects.
everything. There is nothing left out which is critical to our tradition.
Exactly, yeah.
And if somebody wants to read just one book and to know India, to know Sanatana Dharma, then we can just point them to
definitely.
Gita.
That's why it is called Sarva Anukula Shastra. Sarva Anukula Shastra. It's convenient to everyone. To someone who is extremely orthodox, down to someone who is almost an atheist. All the definitions in Bhagavad Gita pretty much appears to every universal, any kind of people anywhere in the world. Like in fact, it describes who a Brahmin is. He uses no jargon. Earlier thing is Brahmin means you should be expert in Vedas and things like that. No such terminology is used in the Gita. So just interested in knowledge and wisdom. One of the invocation verses, I won't say every invocation verse of Gita is good, but one of them very good for me, I personally like it very much, is Gitasu Gita Kartavya Kimanyaihi Shastra Vistaraihi Yasvayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padma Vinisrita. So, Kimanyaihi Shastra Vistaraihi, what other elaboration of what other Shastra is needed when you have studied Gita?
It's kind of a standalone text.
Standalone, yeah.
When you read it, but it has a very long tradition because he draws from the earlier Vedic knowledge, but he has presented in such a way that you don't need any prerequisites. Before you read this book, you read these 10 books and come. There is nothing like that. You can just approach this and get the best of it.
Yeah, in fact, Gita itself quotes where it got the information from. Rushapi Bahuta Gitam Chandobir Vividai Pritake Brahma Sutra Padaschaiva. So it is telling that it has gotten its sources from the Chandas, which means all the Vedas and the Upanishads, and the Brahma Sutras. So it gives the reference where it has drawn from.
But we also realize that a lot of mental spade work has gone into the preparation of such a work, which is relying on all the earlier wisdom. So it is in some sense a part of the tradition, but it culminates into something so powerful, which is why I think it has a very lasting appeal.